What is up, guys? It's your boy Jay-Z Bottom Live, and today I wanted to talk about conditioning. I'm gonna try to make this video super quick, so if I miss anything, I apologize. I wanted to use Li Mei for this example, okay? Li Mei is not the best character in the game, so please don't go online thinking that you're about to just smoke everybody with Li Mei. There's so much bullshit in this game, as far as in cameos to the way that Raiden could just sit there and chip you out all day. So that's something that you really have to take into consideration if you're going to pick up Li Mei. I think this game is just fun when you're playing with your friends, or even in certain matchups, Li Mei might be strong. So that's something that you might want to understand. Also, you might just want to pick her up for certain matchups. I recommend that as well. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys what matchup she's good at and what matchup she sucks at. But what today I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys on how to condition your opponent. And I wanted to use Li Mei is because Li Mei has good stagger pressure. She has good plus frames, and she has sometimes good buttons up close. She does have weakness as far as in her poke range, like she has T-Rex arms, and most people like to say, but up close, she's very effective. And the reason why I say that is because this is plus, this is plus. This is plus. This is plus. This is plus. Now, again, what's so great about certain characters like Li Mei is that she has gaps. Now, a lot of people will sit here and complain and be like, oh man, she has gaps. This is what makes her bad. No, no, no. That's what makes her strong. Remember that. So a lot of times, right, since this has a gap here, you can duck there or you can just go into buttons. Most of the time, people will use a standing poke. And if they don't use a standing poke, you can wait for them to take their turn back and you can counter poke. A lot of times people will just do a poke just to be like, okay, I understand that you can't go into this third hit here. So they'll counter poke. Boom, let them poke, grab. And I'll show you that right now. Right. Oh, he's not going to poke. Right, so I'll do it really quick too. Right. People will say that's bad. No, 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 buddy. This is good. And the reason why it's good is because if my opponent thinks he can take his turn back, you could do that. Right? Sorry. Right. See? And then big brain. Right? Thought you were gonna take your turn back. You get what I'm saying? So these are things that you can create, and this is a form of conditioning, because if you understand that your opponent's gonna take their turn back in a certain way, then you can basically set them up for failure, basically. Lack of better terminology. You can set them up for failure. Another thing that's really good about Li Mei is that she puts you in a situation where you literally have to guess, and that's very, very strong, because a lot of times she'll put you in situations where it's hard for you to actually understand what you may do, should do. So when she down pushes you like this, there's only a few things you can do. It's neutral jump, or just jump forward, or you can just go straight into buttons, or which would be a reversal. But even then, you won't be in range to do necessarily anything. So a lot of times when people sit here, they're prone to duck because they know the second follow-up hit might be another down poke. So this is when you can do instant airs with her, where you can do that. And the more closer to the ground you are, the more easier it is to get your opponent to open up, because a lot of times if you do it too high, they'll see you jump and then they'll block high. But if you do it really instant, it becomes very hard for your opponent to see it. So that's something to remember as well. Another thing too that I also wanted people to know is that when it comes to conditioning, you're going to give up your turn a lot of times, so you're going to have to work on your composure. Composure is very, very important, especially when you're playing certain characters that do a really good job at conditioning your opponent, because a lot of times people they'll think they know what you're doing, but they necessarily won't, because you condition them so well. They might even like grab you, or they might just like down poke, or they might go straight into buttons even though you might be plus. I could dash in my opponent's face. So when you're doing a lot of movement like this in somebody's face, it throws them off, I promise you. So if you're doing like, and you're not just doing this to do this, you're doing this because you're timing. Because you understand that you're +2. So you have a few frames where you can dash forward in your opponent's face. See how far, look, see how long it takes him to poke back? See? Watch. I'm actually dashing forward. So that's something that you're not paying attention to. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times when it comes to stagger pressure, even though I'm dashing for it, I'm baiting him to do something. I'm looking for him to try to grab me. Boom. See what I'm saying? So now you gotta condition him to this. Whatever the combo be, right? This is what high risk, high reward is. Also too, because her overhead also opens people up. And you'll get a combo. Now you can get way more than 27% just off of the fact that your opponent didn't block or they tried to flawless block the second hit, right? Right, you can even get way more than that. That's not even optimal. But the simple fact that the reason that I'm bringing all this up to you, and I use Li Mei for conditioning, is because she's really rewarded for conditioning you in the right way. And if you get conditioned too fast, too easily, then she can open you up for 50%. Also, too, she's the only character in the game that has a 7-frame reversal. And the way that reversals work, or the way that special moves work with normals, is that let's say that you have a move that's -7 on block and you have a startup of 7, you cannot necessarily punish that. But if you have a special move that is 7-frame startup and you have a move that's -7, you can punish it, or more, because not all the time are strings -7, they could be more. So for an example, right, his the block advantage for his move is the startup is 7 and then the block advantage is -8. That I can punish, right? So like I can do that to him. So it's very rewarding to learn how to do this, because you actually can get a whole combo off of this. But I think you can only, I don't know if you can do it in what you call it, in the corner. I think you gotta be like time perfect. But I know that you could do it full screen. So like, let's see if I can actually hit it really quick in this video. Let's see. I'm gonna get it. I'll try it. I'm trying. I'm trying so hard. Okay. I'm gonna have to make a whole another video on that. But nonetheless, you still get a combo off of it, or not even just a combo, but like if someone wanted to poke and they were taking their turn back too often, they were just poking you, or they did a couple strings and you were being patient and then they down poke you, you can get a whole reversal combo off of it too. So that's something to keep in mind too, if you're playing against someone who likes to poke a lot. And it does work. Once you lab it and once you learn it and everything like that, it will work out in your favor as far as in a reversal punish. So I think that's something that's very, very strong as well, especially when you're playing Li Mei. Take advantage of people down poking you a lot. And a lot of times her plus frames put you in a situation where all you can do is poke. But it depends on your playstyle, on like what you want to do to condition your opponent. Because you can do things like whatever it may be, right? You could do whatever you want. Just because they tried to counter poke there. So that's something that you need to take advantage of, especially with Li Mei. Li Mei is really strong too with her poke game. See how he can't necessarily poke me back even though he would like to? I'm pretty sure he could do a down 3 and it would hit me, but it also probably puts him in a situation where he doesn't want to be in. So like, oh my god, he keeps doing that every time. Right? So like, so this is considered conditioning because I'm looking for him to counter poke me because I can be able to do certain things. So that's something that you need to pay attention to when it comes to playing your character. And this is called spacing because you're whip punishing his down poke, which is might take a little time to understand the spacing, but once you figure it out, you'll be fine. You also can OS it with the overhead too. So that's something that you need to keep in mind too. Another thing that I feel like I got a little carried away because I'm trying to hurry up and make this video and make it a little faster than usual. Li Mei also has a lot of plus frames. She's really good at stagger games. She's also she's easy to bait people to wake up and feel like they can wake up, because a lot of times people will try to armor because they don't want to play the mind game with you. So you can bait that. And remember I was telling you when you do 1-2, you can walk forward slightly. This is all about your composure. If your composure is very strong and you put yourself in the situation or a scenario where you leave yourself thinking, okay, he's going to throw me into the corner, or he's going to armor or jump over me. Those are 3 options that most people like to do, especially when you're pressuring them too much, and you have to understand that. Once you understand that, then it also comes down to the character that you're type of playing against. They might do stuff like this to counter poke back. And that's something that you need to be aware of. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that you just have to be aware of when you're playing against your opponent. This is why composure is very strong, because a lot of times people will essentially down poke, or people will essentially like do 1-2. Wait a second, and their timing is off, and then they get opened up, and then they're eating a whole bunch of damage. So composure is very important when you put yourself in a certain situation that you're up close and you have to think. You're losing your turn essentially. I play La Diva and Grand Blue, and a lot of times you have to be baiting your opponent to think they can DP, jump over you, or they believe that you can take their turn back. This requires a lot of composure and a lot of skill as well. I'll probably do a La Diva combo video or gameplay as well. I'll probably upload that, but that's besides the point. The point is, it's all about conditioning your opponent to play the way that you want him to play. Every situation and every scenario comes with a conditioning standpoint. So if I'm up close, how can I condition him? If I'm from this range, how can I condition him? If I'm full screen, how can I condition him? And then you have to think here, okay, conditioning full screen, I have a fireball. Okay, my fireball's a little quicker than him. I can also set up my lantern. Then I can walk in. He's confused on why I'm doing that. Up close, he's like, okay, I'm hitting him on 1-2. He's like, okay, he's trying to bait me. What is it that he's trying to bait me with? Oh, this one's an overhead. Okay, he's doing 1-2. Okay, he down poked me. Yeah, he's grabbing me. Okay, so I know that he's gonna 1-2 and down 1 grab me, or at some point he's gonna want to grab me, so I can duck OS. No, I can do 1-3. I can do this, back up. Then I also can even reset neutral because I feel like I'm overextending, and that's something that you have to be honest about. I'm gonna do a whole video on overextending, but besides the point, this is where you have to rely on your composure and your skill to allow you to let your opponent play the game, because a lot of times what comes with conditioning is that you're conditioning them in a way that most people react to down poke. So like, for an example, if I down 3 him on hit, most of the time people know that they're going to counter poke back. So essentially what they're going to do is just do this and then back up into that, just automatically, without understanding how their opponent plays. And this is what you call autopilot, because not only are you doing something that doing something that you not necessarily know, but you're doing it because of the outcome or the probability of what happens most of the time when people do poke. Oh, okay, I did a down 3 because I thought you were going to do a down 3 back, so I did back 2. But if you play against someone like me, I'm going to be more patient, and I'm a counter player, so I'm going to react to what you're trying to do. I'll give up my turn just to understand what you're trying to do. And there's players out there that do this. And then on top of that, some characters are more rewarded for playing defense because they can, when you overextend, I can kill you for it and then do 40 or 50% like Kenshi or Ashura or so on and so forth, right? So these are things that you have to understand and be honest with when it comes to conditioning. Also, too, when it comes to conditioning, you can also reset neutral as much as you want. Because a lot of times your opponent will try to understand, most of the time, if you're playing at the highest level, they'll try to understand exactly what you're trying to do. So a lot of times they'll give up their turn. I know that normal players or players who just play the game casually will make it too obvious on what they want to do, because they'll start off the game just being very obvious, like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do, and then, and you know what I mean? Like this, and they're like, I didn't even press a button yet. And those two buttons don't go together. You necessarily can't do that, because you don't know if my down three is going to hit. You don't know if I'm going to jump. You don't know if I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't know what I'm going to do. So this becomes a very like easy counter play style, because you're no longer playing me. And when you're no longer playing me, you're prone to so many different things. You're prone to overhead. You're prone to 50-50s. You don't know how to fuzzy, because you're trying so hard to project the things that you struggle with onto me. And it's obvious sometimes in people's play styles. It's like, I don't know how to deal with this, so I'm gonna make you deal with it. It's a lot of times it's in people's play style and they don't even know it themselves. I could go into a lot of depth about conditioning, but I wanted to make it very straightforward on how to condition everything, and look at everything as a scenario, a situation, or a probability on how you can open up your opponent. Okay, I'm up close. I want to open him up with grabs. He has very good defense. How can I break his defense? Grab him. How can I grab him? Condition him. How can I condition him? I have plus frames 1, 2. He has to respect it. If he doesn't respect it, I can go into 1, 2, see what he does. Grab. I do 1, 2, he's respecting. Grab. I'm doing 1, 2, he's poking. Okay, then I can do reversal. If I do 1, 2, and then he starts going straight into buttons, I can do 1, 2, down poke him back. You get what I'm saying? So these are things that you have to understand in order to fight your opponent. I wanted to post a video of me playing someone who I thought was really good. I don't know this player at all, but just sometimes I come across great players with great play styles. I come across trolls. I come against people who just, you know, play me and they leave, whatever case may be. But I ran into this one player and he was really, really good. And I wanted to just show you a few games that I ran with him with Li Mei. And I hope you guys appreciate and enjoy the video as well. Thank you for watching. It's your boy Jay-Z Bottom Lip.
Shall we go again?
Round 2, fight.
enjoying the show?
Final round. Fight!
That is not your best.
Round 2. Fight!
My Umgadi skills are
Round 2. Fight! Round 2, fight.
That is not your best.
Final round, fight. Finish.